The European Parliament has now been back at work for a couple of weeks since the end of our summer break, and I just wanted to give an idea about a few of the things I've been doing since we've been back. Obviously, the main item that has been at the top of our political agenda has been the election of the new Commission President. I say new because in effect he's not new. It's José Manuel Barroso, who has been Commission President for the last 5 years. And I was really pleased in the vote yesterday, Wednesday in plenary, that we gave him a mandate for the next 5 years. He might not be from my direct political family in that he's not what we would call in the UK a Liberal Democrat, but he is from the centre-right, and I think it speaks volumes that he is proposed by his own home government, Portuguese government, which is actually socialist. And the most telling thing that he said to me, I think both during the election procedure and afterwards, he said, "My political party is Europe," and that means a lot to me. It tells me that Europe and making Europe work is central to his values and beliefs, and that he wants a Europe based on values and based on solidarity. So on that ground alone, I was pleased to give him my support and look forward to working with him and the Commission that he chooses over the next 5 years. But in relation to other aspects of our work, during the first week back in Brussels, I had the chance to host a very large conference about the activities of lobbyists. As a Vice President of Parliament, I have responsibility for transparency, and included in that is our relationship with lobbyists. Now, of course, as parliamentarians engaged in making laws and making policy, we need a huge amount of input from all sorts of people. For instance, from the UK, from people like the Confederation of British Industry, from the consumers' organisations, from the farmers' unions, all sorts of interest groupings. And it's really important for us that we should have their input, and also should have their input from those of them that operate directly in the constituencies that we represent, for me, Yorkshire and the Humber. But it's also necessary that every member of the public can also see who is lobbying us, who is talking to us, so that they know that who is influencing us in relation to the decisions that we make. And we have been trying, both in the Parliament and in the Commission, to set up a register so that it is clear who lobbyists are, how much their organisations or businesses spend on lobbying over a year, and exactly who's who in those organisations. We've made a good start, but at the moment it's only a voluntary process. I and many of my colleagues would like to see it become a mandatory or obligatory process, and we also need to do much more work on who's included. For instance, my previous profession of a solicitor, lawyers also act as lobbyists, but some of them say they shouldn't be registered when they lobby. I think they should. So it's hugely important for how we make decisions in Europe. And then over the weekend, between our work in Brussels and coming here to Strasbourg for the plenary session this week, I also was present at a conference in Quebec, Canada, to talk about the European Union's relationships with the Arctic, a region of the globe that's always been very special to me, and where I think many of our citizens are concerned with climate change advancing, with the ice melting in the north, as to how what we do there will affect all of us. It was a very interesting conference with participants from Russia, from the United States, from Canada and European countries. I won't say that we reached any conclusions, but we keep talking, and it's important that the EU is involved. So those are just some of the issues I've been involved in over the last 2 weeks, and this is a habit that I hope to keep up over the coming weeks as Parliament progresses in its first term of this new Parliament.